How to get the best DO schools to chase you. Hey, BMO Nation, welcome to another episode of our One Question podcast. My name is Ronza and I'm joined by my colleague, Mang.
Hi, everyone.
Now, we have nothing to sell you. It's just pure strategies and tips so that everyone has equal access to education. In case you've never watched or listened to one of these before, they are completely unscripted. There's no effects of that nature. It's just pure content. And we have 10 minutes to tackle a topic each week. And this week's topic is how to get the best DO schools to chase you. All right, so the timer is on and we can get going. All right, now for anyone that's interested in osteopathic medicine, I really do want to emphasize that the strategies that you may have heard us discuss for on any other topic will be overlapping because nothing really changes here, Meg. I think that first and foremost, you want to ensure that you've really invested the time up until this point to ensure that this is the career, this is the choice, this is the profession, this is the specialization, that you really are motivated and that you've had lived experiences that have really motivated you to pursue osteopathic medicine. And I think it's very important at that point, once you've confirmed that fully, that you're able to organize that precisely for your application, which is, I think, the biggest piece of the component here that we're really going to be talking about. And Mang, when it comes to how to get the best DO schools to chase you, when it comes to the application component, there's a lot of different areas, key areas to tackle, but precisely that statement piece, what should, our viewers, our listeners, really note down for that?
Actually, I really want to start with something you shouldn't do because I think a lot of the applications I see to DO schools make this mistake. And I always just send it back to them and say, please rewrite this. And that is, they just take their statement for MD schools, for allopathic schools.
This is true.
And they just copy paste it, done, DO school. Or maybe depending on the length, there's different length requirements. I can tell they just really quickly clipped out some content, shortened it a little bit maybe, and that's your DO school personal statement. And it's so obvious to me when people do that. And it's so obvious to me that they're not genuine about their motivations to pursue DO school, because everything that in that statement screams, I want to go to an MD school. And when an admissions committee member from a DO school sees a statement like that, they put it directly in the reject pile. There's no reason for them to read any further, right? So don't do that. We always encourage our students that if you are someone who is applying to both MD and DO schools, that you brainstorm, draft, and write two separate statements. Don't let those statements confuse each other. For the DO one specifically, you always want to make sure that before you even start writing that statement, that you understand what the difference is between MD and DO schools. If you don't know that, it's not going to be a very convincing statement, right? And I'm not saying that in the statement you really need to do a compare and contrast between the two. It's just that you need to understand what it is about DO schools that makes them what they are. What is osteopathic medicine, right? What are the principles that they go by that makes them a little bit different from MD schools, right? And once you've done that kind of research and you see what that's all about, then you're going to be able to more convincingly relate your motivations as well as your past experiences to those philosophies of theirs that they have. And you want to do that in the statement. You want to do that in your interviews, wherever you have the chance to say, yes, I know what DO schools are all about. I know what osteopathic medicine is all about. And I think I'm going to make a great DO. I'm going to make a great doctor of osteopathic medicine.
Absolutely. I think the one thing I do want to emphasize, and I have seen this with students, is that compare and contrast. Please eliminate that, or
don't do
somehow
that.
And this isn't a what not to do. This is a how to get the best DO schools. But I think it's important to clarify this point, Mang. So great job in bringing it up. You don't want to make it appear like it's a backup plan. And that can be very evident in your journey. If you begin with, I decided on this, and, you know, however way you say it, you have to be very strategic. So please make sure that first and foremost, you're genuinely interested in this. Secondly, your language, right? This is sometimes a common issue, is a and contrasting, and then also using DO schools as a backup, which is a big no-no. So right away, that's something that, you know, you want to make sure that you've paid attention to, and that's not in your paper. But how to actually get and excel in a personal statement, and kind of piggybacking off of Mang, is you want to make sure that you write a compelling journey, right? Compelling story. Ensure that, you know, the beginning is captivating, right? Here at BMO, we always emphasize, whether it's in any other component, primacy and recency, right? Primacy being the first few moments that an individual can remember are very important. So you want to make sure you put effort and time into that, making it captivating, personable. It captures the readers right away. And that's your introductory statement and your introductory as a whole. Your introductory as a whole is a roadmap to the rest of your experiences, or maybe just one experience. We usually say stick to 3, no more, so you don't dilute it. You don't want to list everything, right? There's other components you can bring about your experiences, but personal statement should really hone in on up to 3. And then in terms of your conclusion, that's a recency effect. You know, that's the last few pieces of, you know, a statement or maybe an interview. That's what an individual can recall. It's usually the first few seconds and the last few seconds. And now recall, you have admissions that are reading these. They're not reading these for a minute long. Like, it's a few seconds. They're scamming these statements. So you really want to make sure that you captivate that attention right away. And to Meg's point, you really demonstrate why you want to pursue osteopathic medicine. And you do that with showing rather than telling, right? Experiences that you've had, whether that be shadowing, whether it be observation in other form, whether that be interacting, or just other key principles or skills that you value within osteopathic medicine that you're able to kind of flesh out from other experiences, indirectly or directly, and then making sure that you demonstrate why that's important moving forward. So in terms of your personal statement, that's really the, you know, how you'd want to piece it together. And that's what we say for any application, really. But making sure you get this revised over and over and over until you feel that it's absolutely best to your abilities. It's condensed, it's concise, it's within the word or character limit of that program. It doesn't go over, because it will get cut off, and you do not want that. And that it's compelling and it's personable to you. So that aspect of the application is very important. But now, if you're like, hey, what happens to, you know, the activity sketch or other experiences that I get to tackle, Meng, how could our applicants, you know, approach that?
Yeah, well, the activity sketch, whether you are applying to an MD school or DO school, is a place where you want to be highlighting your core competencies that the schools are looking for. So again, it comes down to doing your research before you start that component of your application. Make sure you know all the different kinds of competencies that could be highlighted in that part of the application, and making sure that you select significant experiences that highlight those things, or making sure that you select experiences that are important to you, but then thinking about how that experience reflects those qualities and making sure that you highlight that in your writing. Okay, that's what we really mean by that. And then, of course, in the activity sketch for DO school, that's another place where you could highlight your understanding of those DO principles, their philosophies, through your experiences. If you have experiences that really allow you to demonstrate your understanding of holistic treatment of a patient, you know, body, spirit, mind, those kinds of things, excellent, right? If you can highlight that. If you've shadowed a DO physician, that's something that you probably want to highlight as well in a shadowing experience that you include in your statement, whereas maybe you selected a different shadowing experience for the AACOMAS activities sketch. So yeah, again, it's about understanding the differences and highlighting the things that showcase that you understand this particular subfield of medicine, and also to showcase the core competencies that they're going to be looking for specifically in their candidates.
Absolutely. And obviously, last but not least, because we have 40 seconds here on the timer, is not neglecting those letters of recommendations or references. So making sure that you reach out to your professors or physicians you shadowed, giving them ample time, ample notice, and ensuring that they can give you a great reference and really attest to those skills, as Mang mentioned, those interpersonal skills that they're looking for, and making sure that it's a strong reference and not just any regular reference. So having all those components together will really make sure that you strengthen your chances and you put your best foot forward and getting these schools to chase you. And that's actually time here. So thank you so much for watching or listening. If you like this as much as we enjoyed making it for you, then you can go ahead and share it with a friend, subscribe so you don't miss a future episode. And of course, ask any questions in the comments section below. Thank you so much. See you next time.
Bye, everyone.